What are you saying, bro? You ready for another lesson?
Man, I can't wait, man. It's been a while, so...
That's a screw.
You can even tell already, you know?
Hey, right rudder, that's it.
Wheel 01, you can backtrack now.
Need to be over the field in between the two.
Alright.
What do you know about increasing the angle of bank?
Full speed.
Exactly.
You're fine, you're on the centre line, and then suddenly you're not, bro.
Next time you're in a grass, bro.
That landing. Whew. I'm worn out.
Are you aiming to be a commercial pilot?
Yes, at some point.
Yes, so these calls, they have to be made in a commercial environment. Well done, mate. You're gonna make a good commercial pilot.
Thank you.
I'll walk up behind the aircraft.
You're very behind the aircraft. We've got a fuel leak. Are we? Yeah.
By the way, Roger the whiskey, sorry. The whiskey is quite strong. Mate, you're gonna make a good commercial pilot.
You still have control.
No, you tell me when you want to take control. You tell me when you want to take control.
Ever? Do I have to?
Yes. As I say so. Bear in mind, you're going to have to work with what you've got, normally. What do you need?
This one. I'll make use of what I've got.
Previously on Future Pilot 901.
Okay, how you feeling?
Feeling good?
Good. You're gonna go solo.
Okay. Student Will 08 is ready for departure. We're off.
Wheel 08, surface wind is 330 at 9 knots, we've got one to vacate.
Student Will 08.
Charlie Kilo is right base, get out to land. Student Wheel 08, minute takes and well done.
This aircraft is so nice to fly with.
Yeah, very nice.
Pick a golf, clear to enter South Control airspace now in the climb task chute 3,000 feet, heading 090 degrees.
Just 3,000 feet is very nice and smooth.
Yeah.
It's not like in the cloud.
Golf, resume that location, Sierra Lima Binoc. December the procedure report on low flight established.
The whole point of getting your IMC is you fly clouds. That's sort of where we are roughly. See?
Okay.
So we came in for an approach on runway 23. We did a missed approach, and now we're being vectored around to do another approach into runway 23.
Yes, yes, yes. Happy Monday. And it's time for another conversation. Let's get started. Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort, to make my dream happen. My name is D, and this is my journey. This is Future Pilot 901. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Future Pilot 901. I'm your future captain. My name is D, and this is Future Pilot 901 Live, episode number 46. The show is brought to you live every Monday, usually on Kick, 7 p.m. British summertime. But today we're going to diversify a little bit. You know, we're going to bring the YouTube back in. We're gonna bring the YouTube back in because we're going to have a very interesting conversation today. Very interesting conversation. So, sometime last week, excuse me, I got let me just check everything's working all good here. Sometime last week, I saw a message from somebody, and they said, "Hey, look, I've really enjoyed your content. But here's what I'm going through. I've got a few questions." And I said to him, "Look, why don't you pass by on the show? Let's have a chat and discuss some of the challenges that you're having flight training." So later on, I'll be joined by a guest, and that's when we're going to go onto YouTube. So I'm looking forward to that. Until then, it's left to me to entertain you. Yeah. Might be a bit rough for the next few minutes, but cheers. We're going to make it through somehow. Anyways, I hope you're having a great start to the week. There's been a lot of movement, a lot of activity over at the Future Pilot 901 camp. If you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, then you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, what can I say? I would advise you to get yourself subscribed there very quickly, or else, you know, just saying. But yes, there's been a lot of activity on there. I'm just about to post a promo on my Instagram for the conversation. So let me just send that over and I'll tell you guys what's new on the FPNO channel. Gosh, I've had this cough that's not going anywhere anytime soon. Don't know what that's about. Anyways, how's everyone feeling? How are you doing? Do I add a time? No, they'll find it. They will find it. So it's a bit of a tricky one to broadcast on YouTube, like partway through the stream. So that's a bit of a tricky one. I might have to end the stream and then restart it so that we can bring YouTube in, because this is the first time I've done this, actually. So not sure if it's showing. What I'll do is when we start on the YouTube, then I will post the latest link, because I'm just thinking it might have changed the link. You know what I mean? Let me have a look at the link. Yeah. Don't know. I don't think it's working. I don't know. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, yeah, but it's on private. Yeah. I'm on the YouTube on private, so we're gonna have to switch that up, and then hopefully I see that works. But yes, if you've been staying up to date with what's happening on the YouTube, we've had some new activity on there. I'll show you. I will show you what we've got going on over on the YouTube channel. Here is the first thing, as promised. Do you know what? Let me get rid of this. As promised, check it out. Checking it out. This is
Fun fact.
Dance episode 4.
That there is Brighton I-360, and apparently it goes as high as 531 feet. Maybe we won't be able to fly back to it. If we do get...
Yeah, so... if you haven't checked it out yet, make sure you do check it out. It's interesting decisions to make on that in that episode. So do check it out. Episode number 4 is out as promised, and I've got one more episode in the Fly to Dance series, so that should be coming out very soon. I won't say when, just in case, just in case life gets busy and then it's another year before I drop the next episode. But I would expect it to drop sooner rather than later. So do make sure you are subscribed and turn the notification bell on. Now, for those of you aspiring pilots out there, maybe you're applying for a cadet scheme, maybe you're applying for a scholarship, whether it's the ATPL scholarships that's currently running. I know the PPL gliding scholarships are pretty much done for the year. But who knows, maybe next year you're going to be thinking about preparing. Maybe you had your interview this year and it didn't quite go as how you expected it or how you hoped for it to go. Well, guess what? I've just launched, if I can stop coughing, the Future Pilot Interview Companion. Future Pilot Interview Companion. Future Pilot Interview Companion. Yeah. What is that? I hear you ask. What is that? Well, it's a series of videos at the moment. Let me just do that. That take you through questions. So the first video is 8 common questions that you may face at an interview, whether it's for scholarships or a job interview or whatever it is. Now, the reason why I've put this out there, to be honest, is I'm using this to prepare. So I'm literally sharing with you my deepest, most valuable secrets here. So you can now watch this, and how it actually, it's not a watch, it's really an interactive thing. Because what I do is, in fact, let's have a quick listen. Has been created to help you prepare for your upcoming interview. I will ask you a series of 8 general questions that you're likely to face at any interview. All that in just a moment. Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort, to make my dream happen. My name is D, and this is my journey. This is Future Pilot 901. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Future Pilot 901. I'm your future captain. My name is D, and this is your interview practice companion. Here's how it's going to work. I will ask you a series of 8 general questions that you're likely to get at any interview. You will then have 2 minutes to answer the question. And once those 2 minutes are finished, I will ask you the next question until we've worked our way through all 8 questions. Couple of things to note.
Firstly, how you answer these questions may differ for one company compared to another. So do bear in mind who you're about to be interviewed by and what they will need to hear from you, and tailor your answers accordingly. Secondly, the 2 minutes are just a guide. Some interviewers may allow you more than 2 minutes to answer questions, particularly complex ones. And also, some questions don't need an answer of up to 2 minutes. They can do with a shorter answer. So use this as it suits you best. With all that said, let's get started. Question number 1. Tell me a bit about yourself. Oh my days, my bad. I was on mute. I was on mute. So what I was explaining there is you then have 2 minutes to answer the question. Whereas before you would have needed to get somebody to give up 15, 20 minutes of their time to question you so you can sharpen your interview answers. Now you have a video that can help you do that. So this set of questions was 8 common questions that you'll get at an interview. The next video is going to be 8 of the toughest questions you might face. Then after that, it's going to be technical questions that you might face. So there'll be different sets of questions that you can use. Again, whether it's PPL scholarship, gliding scholarship, whether it's a sponsored cadet scheme interview, these are videos that can help you. They're really a tool to help you sharpen your interview answers. So do make the most of them. Feel free to go over to Future Pilot 901 on YouTube and avail yourself of those tools. I know I will, because did I tell you guys I was awarded a ATPL scholarship in the last few weeks? Did I tell you guys that? Yeah, I was awarded. So I had to do things like this to sharpen my interview skills, and I'm expecting yet some more interviews coming up. So I will definitely be using that. And if you're not going to use it, then I'll get to use it, and and maybe I might just have the edge over you at the interviews. I mean, I'm sharing it, so if you don't want to use it, that's your business. But I would highly suggest that you use it whenever you got an interview. And you can choose a video with a theme that you want to focus on, and just go at it. So got a couple more videos of those to be released this week, so do watch this espacio. All right. Now, I did tell you guys that I'm going to be doing some work on the Future Pilot 901 website. Well, guess what? I haven't quite managed it. However, we're making progress. We're making progress. Here it is. Remember how last week the blogs looked a little bit,
basically there was just one blog and you couldn't see the rest of it. So finally it's displaying a few more, but what I'm going to do is get a search bar on the side, get some categories on the side here. So hopefully that will work quite nicely. Hopefully that will work quite nicely, and you'll be able to find some of the evergreen historical blogs as well as the new ones. So that's on the Future Pilot 901 blog. I do need to update the About Me. I can't believe it's been, what, 6 years since I started this? And that was before I turned 30. Crazy. Look at all that hair. Look at all that hair. It's a bit depressing to look at. Let's get rid of that. Yes, so very soon I will be joined by my guest for today, and we'll be going live on the YouTube as well. But Kik gets to see behind the scenes. You get to see the pre-show and potentially the post-show. Who knows? But just before we get to that, I've been keeping my eyes peeled on the internets. And I'm always very curious about relationships and becoming a pilot. Relationships and becoming a pilot. Yeah, we hear lots of stories, don't we? We hear lots of, I know I've heard lots of stories of all sorts of shenanigans, let's put it that way. And for somebody like myself who's looking to go into commercial training, you know, what's the prospect? You know, what if somebody chooses to do life with me? What exactly are they buying into? You know, for example, I'll tell you now, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'll just be honest with you. I love watching films. I used to be a dance theater performer, so I understand the idea of playing a character really well. Okay. And I love films, I love TV shows, but I would never date an actress. I can't do it. It's beyond my capabilities as a person. You know, it's important. You know, like when you're driving and you know your limits, you're like, wait, no, this speed is too fast for me. I've got to slow down and just drive at the speed that I'm comfortable at. You know, or you're flying and you look at the weather and you're like, you know what, this weather is a bit too marginal for me. Maybe a more experienced pilot might be willing to go out there and fly, but I don't think this one's for me. I'm going to stay home today. You know, it's a bit like that. Because when you buy into that, you're buying into a certain life, right? And, you know, yeah. So the reverse is also true. Somebody might think about being with a pilot and what it means and just go, do you know what? Being a pilot is just, I mean, being with the pilot is not for me. That's what they might think, you know? So I like to do a lot of research, find out what people are saying, people who are further down the line, how they talk about relationships, how they talk about what it's like, the realities of it, right? Because it's one thing to have this idea in your head, but then to be faced with the actual reality of building a relationship whilst being a pilot, what it's like for, you know, the person on the other side as well, it could be a shock. So I'm always on the hunt for these kind of bits of information. Wow, this is funky. And I came across a very interesting one. Something muy interesante. Let me just see. I'll make sure I don't pull up a random screen that is no use to us today. Let's see. There we go. So let's have a wee bit of a listen to this again before we get our guest for today on board. And by the way, if you want to jump on and have a Q, let me just switch this over. If you want to jump on, have a bit of a chat, have a bit of a back and forth on any other topics, feel free. Let me know. I will put the link in the chat and you can just click and jump on and come on the stage. Okay, this is just that kind of day. It's just that kind of day. Let's find out.
Because my husband is a pilot does not mean we are just rolling in the cash. I feel like every time I post some type of budgeting or financial video, I get comments that are like, well, your husband's a pilot, so why are you struggling? And I just want to bring some context to the situation. This is not a woe is me, we are struggling, we are poor. We have been doing just fine. God has blessed us immensely. We've been able to live on just my salary through all of his training, and he makes a great salary that's going to set us up to be able to pay off his debt pretty fast. But I just want to bring some context to what flight training looks like and starting out as a pilot where you are making no money. My husband's training start to finish took him about 3 years from the time he started his private pilot's license to the time that he got hired on at an airline. And that's not how it is for everybody, but we live in Kansas. The weather's unpredictable. We get a lot of weather, a lot of wind, and you can't fly every day. So that definitely makes an impact. If you live somewhere sunny and nice all the time, you're probably gonna get through it a lot faster. But during that time, he was making maybe $12 to $20 an hour, and that doesn't mean he can work full time when he's a flight instructor, because you have to work only when the weather is nice, only when your students are available, only when the planes are available. There's so many factors that go into it. If he could have worked every time he wanted to, he would have got through his training so fast, and he would have been making decent wages. And then you also have to take into account that flight school is expensive, okay? Very expensive. Flight training is insane. And the time it takes to pay off that loan, if you were to pay it off using 100% of your airline salary from the time that you start, from my calculations, it would take a minimum of 18 to 24 months of putting 100% of your salary towards that debt if you are taking out a $90,000 flight school loan. And some people have to take more because they need living expenses. They can't afford to be working, or they don't have a spouse to put them through it all. You know, there's so many factors that go into it. So I'm being very conservative with these numbers. So yeah, you are making decent money as a pilot. And obviously, as he's at the airlines longer, you can look up pilot salaries on the internet. He's going to be doing just fine. But we are also in a mound of flight school debt because flight school is expensive. And for the past 3 years, he hasn't been making much money. And that's okay. That's the sacrifice you make because the income potential is incredible. And this is his dream. We obviously make sacrifices to do that. But that does not mean that the second that he stepped foot at an airline that we were just out of debt, doing great, making millions of dollars a year. That's just simply not how it works. We are obviously still in debt and working to pay it off, but it is so worth it to see him follow his dreams and be so happy doing what he loves. And that makes every little bit of it worth it. And I know that we will be out of debt when the time comes, and we are working our butts off to get there. But in the meantime, we're still enjoying life and figuring it out how to do it on a budget. Just because my husband is a
Do you know what? First thing I have to say is, wow. Wow. That is incredible. To have somebody have your back like that, priceless. Priceless. Absolutely priceless. He better have her back too, you know, because that is very rare to find. So shout out to them. I wish them well. I hope it's all going good for them. But some very stark realities there, you know, potentially going down to one income, you know, during training. And for example, for somebody like me who's applying or, you know, applying for different opportunities, you could be away for training for 18 months, perhaps maybe even a different country. And that's definitely something to manage. It's manageable, but it's what do they say? If you don't plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? Because it has to be intentional. It can't be, it isn't a fluke. It's so difficult that it can't be fluked. So yeah, really interesting. But they seem like they're managing well. But some people go through things that maybe they look like they're managing well, but it's not always easy, because being a pilot is not always convenient. It's not always convenient. Sometimes it can be a huge inconvenience.
Ever wondered what dating a pilot is like? Our wedding is next month, and he just got his work schedule today. He's fully working for our wedding. He tried to take vacation, didn't get it. He asked off for the days, didn't get it. So it's pretty funny, actually. If you ever wondered what dating a pilot is like, our wedding is next month, and he just got his work schedule today. He's fully...
Yeah, it is. It's not for the faint-hearted. It is not for the faint-hearted. Wait, are we live on YouTube? Have I been deceiving myself? Are we actually live on YouTube? Give me signs of life if you're on YouTube. No, I'm watching it privately. I think it should regulate now. We can't be. Surely we're not. Surely we are not. Yeah. Surely we are not. Right. Don't know where the YouTube view is coming from then. But yeah, so it can be very inconvenient. It can be very inconvenient. Very inconvenient. That's the reality. Yeah. That's the reality. So how can we deal with it? What can we do? What can we do? I'm looking for answers. What can we do? What can I do? What can I do? How can I think about this? Let's find out.
This is the conversation most pilots never have. And I've watched it cost pilots their marriages, their careers, and sometimes both. I'm a chief pilot. I have 5 kids, and I've been happily married for almost 19 years. But in this career, I've seen what happens to a pilot's life at home if it isn't aligned with the job. Aviation is hard on relationships. You're gone a lot, you're in beautiful places, you're eating meals that the company picks up, and you're often surrounded by the same crew for days at a time. And if the person waiting for you at home doesn't understand what this life actually looks like, it creates a kind of pressure most pilots don't see coming. I flew with a pilot who loved this job, but every layover he was rushing back to the hotel to call his wife because she was jealous of the crew, the trips, the whole thing. Eventually he changed the whole shape of his career, not because he wanted to, but because he felt he had to. He didn't make that choice because of the job, he made that choice because of the conversations he never had. If you're not in a committed relationship yet, be thoughtful about who you end up with. An independent partner matters more in this career than most people realize. If you're already in one, pay attention. When your spouse is feeling something, don't ignore it. Don't wait it out. Sit down and figure out how to make it better together. Because relationships are already hard. Aviation can make them harder. And here's the part that nobody wants to say out loud. If life at home isn't taken care of, it will show up in the cockpit. Your career, your mindset, your day-to-day, none of it works if the foundation at home is cracking. Be intentional about your training, about your career, and about the life you're building at home. Because a career in aviation should be built on purpose, not by accident.
Yeah, that's real talk. That is real talk. That is real talk. That is real talk. Crazy, but very important tips there. Very important tips. But it's definitely something that is not spoken about enough, in my opinion. So it's something I will be looking to dig into further as we go, or as I go down this road. All right, so I'm gonna start bringing bring my guest on, but before we do, let me see if I can go live on the YouTube. Is this gonna work, or am I gonna have to stop the stream and restart? I don't know. First time. Fingers crossed. Drum roll, please. Streaming. Ooh. Okay. And we are live on the YouTube. What's up, people? Welcome back to Future Pilot 901. I am your future captain. My name is D, and this is Future Pilot 901 Live, episode number 46. Now, today I want to have a really, really important conversation. All right, got a message from somebody over on Instagram asking me some questions, some very sensible, useful questions about flight training, mostly about kind of the mental side to it. So I thought, do you know what? Why don't you come on board? Let's have a conversation and let's kind of dig into that and see where it goes. All right. So join us for that conversation in just a mo.
Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort, to make my dream happen. My name is D, and this is my journey. This is Future Pilot 901.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, here we go.
Hello.
Hello, mister. How's it going?
It's going good, man. How's your day been?
Yeah, all good, all good, all good.
Nice.
Welcome to Future Pilot
Thank
901,
you.
man. It's great to have you on board. Just
Thank
tell
you.
us your name and tell us a bit about what you do, man.
Yeah, so my name is Mustafa, and I'm currently turning 21. I started flying around last year before I went to uni, and I did around 7 hours. But then I had to go uni, and now I'm back from uni, so I'm just trying to like get back into it. So I did around 7 hours at Stapleford. Then I moved to Northfield because my instructors, there weren't available. And so right now I am doing my PPO at Northfield at I think it's Academy Aviation. And I'm at the stage where my instructors have told me to get my airlaw done and my solo because my next lesson should be my get my airlaw done and medical because my next lesson should be my solo. So that's the stage I'm at right now.
Yikes, you have left it a bit late, haven't you?
Yeah. I have.
Yeah, because I mean, your medical, depending on what happens, you can probably get it right on the day. If it's straightforward, but obviously sometimes you never know until you go in there. But hopefully it's all straightforward for you, and then you can get it done. Do you have that booked ready?
So I've got that booked for I think it's 11th June. Then I've got my airlaw on the 12th. So I'm getting my medical, then airlaw, and then got my flight lesson a day after that, so 13th. So I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah.
Nice. So bang, bang, bang. So you kind of need it all to fall in line.
Yeah, 100%.
I hear that. Shout out to Raquel in the chat. What's that? What's good, man? Thank you for passing by. Right, man. Yeah. So how did you come across the Future Pilot 901 channel, man?
Yeah, so once I got to Northfield, I was just looking at it's actually quite funny. So before I actually came to Northfield, I was speaking to the head of the flight school that I'm at right now. And so I had my flight lesson booked. And I was just searching up, how the circuit patterns work in Northfield, and I was looking at, different, videos. And I saw one of your videos, and I saw that it's you, and and then once I saw your YouTube channel, I just binge watched a lot of them. And funnily, in fact, I realized that I think you were at Northfield flight training.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my one's a bit different. However, I've actually had some similar instructors to you. One was Selchuk, I think, that you had a long time ago. And I'm currently flying in Juliet Whiskey as well. So there's quite a bunch of similarities there. And then what happened is I realized that you had a website as well. So I searched that up and I saw that you had many blogs. And I think a lot of them are really, really useful to me. There was some stuff that you said, for example, how, there were certain lessons that you weren't able to like fully understand them, then you know realize that you can talk through the maneuvers. I tried that and it worked absolutely perfect for me. And then
Explain that a little bit
yeah,
more.
about the talking through the maneuvers bit.
Yeah.
So about that, so when you talk through a maneuver, which I realized at this point, it kind of helps your instructor realize what's going through your head. And then that actually helps your instructor teach you better, because your instructor isn't like a mind reader, is he? So he doesn't really know like what's going through your head. You know, when you're landing, what are you thinking about? Like, you know, what is the mindset when you're landing? So this time, you know, when I started talking through the maneuvers, my instructor realized, okay, when he's landing, yeah, so there was one thing, I think it was a few weeks ago when I was landing, I was talking through my maneuvers. And what I'd do is I'd wait for the aiming point, and then I'd put idle power once, you know, I'm about to reach the aiming point. And then my instructor realized, oh, okay, so that's what's going through his head. And then after that, we realized what the better way to do it is to, you know, wait when you're, I think it's around a bus height, double-decker bus, then put idle power, and then slowly, like a 50p coin in increments, add back pressure until you're at around that stage, and then you can, you know, add a lot of flair. So that was one thing. And then also when I was doing turns as well, my instructor realizes that when I'm turning, I'm just looking at the picture. And then he told me, okay, what I want you to do is this time is to turn the plane, feel the drop, anticipate it, and then at that point, add some back pressure, and then look at the picture sights. And, you know, things like that's really helped me so far, because if you think about it, flying is mainly about like sight pictures quite a lot, you know. What is the sight picture when you're doing 30-degree turns, you know, when you're landing? And talking through my maneuvers helped my instructors really understand what's going through my head, and then it helped them, you know, give me tailored feedback to help me. And it also, one more thing, it helps you focus as well on what you're doing when you're talking through the maneuver. And that's another key thing as well. And yeah, so those are the two things that I realized, that by talking through the maneuver, it really helped me.
That's really interesting, you know, because I haven't read the blog since like years and years ago, and obviously I produce lots of content. So it's like I'm relearning by hearing you talk about it, which is really valuable. But it's become so normal for me to do. Like even when I'm flying solo, I always talk out loud. You know, I know I have got cameras, but I do always talk out loud. And I think you're absolutely right. It does. I don't know how an instructor could instruct without having the student talk out loud, you know, because you don't know what's going on through their mind.
100%.
And if they're talking through it, like you said, not only does it focus the mind, but also the instructor can go, oh, okay, so that's what they're doing. Oh, they noticed this first, and then they did that. Okay, I need them to swap the order or whatever it is. You know, so very interesting point.
100%, yeah. And one more thing I'd add as well that it helps me with is, you know, my communication skills, because it's really helped me, you know, talk to radio like really confidently. By just talking through, when you talk more and more and more, it just makes you more confident to speak and to communicate. So that's one more like bonus point as well to it.
That's true, right? Because you haven't been like quiet for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, and then suddenly you have to say something. You've kind of been exercising that talking already, and then, oh, I just need to press this button now. Got you. That makes sense. Nice. Okay, so let's get down to the main topic then. So you messaged me, you had a couple of questions, and I wanted to dig into that because I thought, you know, like you've seen in my blogs, for me, and my background is more personal development and, you know, support psychology, supporting families, that kind of thing, before I ever got into aviation. And for me, that was my big challenge. I don't think like pilot aptitude was what I was lacking in. It was more the mindset. That's what held me back from making progress, from even attempting to become a pilot, you know? So that's why my journey has heavily been focused on the mindset side of things, more than what I see other people do. Other people kind of focus on the skill. a lot more.
Yeah.
But I'm more focused on the mindset. And your questions were more on the mindset side of things. So I thought, yeah, that's kind of my bag. That's the kind of thing I like to sink my teeth into. So talk us through some of the challenges and what your questions to me are.
Yeah. So I realized since a kid that I really wanted to be a pilot. And I was looking at like different flight schools. However, a similar road to you, money was a huge issue for me at the start. So at that point, I spoke to my parents and I realized I could do a PPL. So I went into it really confident because I thought all it takes is just me being super passionate about it and then going into it. And beforehand, before doing my PPL, I didn't really fail in many things. Uni, I was doing quite good. Good grades. Extracurricular stuff as well. And then once I got into my PPL, I realized that there's some skill gaps because flying isn't hard, but it's just a different logic that you need to use when flying. And when I went into it, I remember my first flight, it was really fun. I loved it, but it was mainly just like, using the controls, pitching, etc. My second flight, my instructor wanted to surprise me. He wanted me to do the takeoffs. So I was a bit like, nervous doing it, but then we did the takeoffs, we went up, practiced medium level turns, etc. But I think one main thing that I didn't realize is that there's a huge like negative connotation to failure. However, I think one really important thing that people need to realize is that failure isn't bad. What we should strive to do is to fail well, if that makes sense, which is to embrace failure but use it as a way to improve. And that's one thing I was lacking at the start because I remember I couldn't get past like medium level turns. Now that I look back, I realized how simple it was. Like it's not a huge thing, but at the time, it was a new thing to me. And even in my first flight, I remember doing like climbing and descending, and I remember like my brain was thinking, okay, it was just quite a lot of things to like get into. And at that point, I realized like is this for me? Is this not for me? Like I thought this might be. I thought this was a walk in the park, but it clearly isn't. And then later on, I realized that it's not meant to be this easy. And it took me watching some videos and stuff, and even at Northfield when I'm trying out new things, I realized like looking at your videos that like a lot of people like go through these things, and it's about learning how to fail well. That's a really, really important thing. And now I'm at the stage where I do get some feedback, but whenever I do get the feedback, I try and fail well. What I do is I've got a whiteboard or I've got like my notes app on my phone, and I note down straight after my lesson what it is I need to improve on. It could be, my landings need some improvement. I mean, even now, my landings are better, but they can still get more and more improved and other things. And what I do is I note it down and I armchair fly and I use my flight sim. I don't like doing one or the other just because with the flight sim, you don't really like, you don't want to get too used to that and then not get used to like, how the plane flies in real life. But those two together. And now I've used like failure more constructively, which is one thing I was lacking at the start. And I think many other people might be lacking that as well, just because they might be under the illusion that, although flying, they see 16-year-olds doing it, even 15-year-olds, it's easy. However, you need to learn how to fail well for it to be really easy, to embrace failure and learn from your mistakes, if that makes sense. Sorry, I think, are you muted?
Yeah, I was muted.
Okay,
yeah. Thank you. No, I completely agree because I remember when I think it was 2020, I had a card that had like my most important quotes and what I wanted to achieve for the year. And the quote that I put on there was, "You will fail your way to success."
Yeah.
That's the
really
only
good. Yeah.
that was I had to embrace failure. And I think I wrote a blog about why you should be enthusiastic about failing. Something like that. It rings a bell. But yeah, I totally agree. You have to be willing to fail. But here's the thing, even if you do everything right, the truth is we would still run through difficulties. One of the things that I learned earlier on, and then I want to dig in, I'm going to ask some more questions and dig into like what you're finding challenging now. But one of the things because I'm so interested in psychology, and psychology is like it's adjacent, slightly related to like neurology and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It borrows a little bit from all these
Yeah.
different disciplines. But literally, when you're learning something new, apparently more parts of your brain light up, right? So this is you being task saturated, essentially.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that's happening. But the more you routinize something, as in you make it a routine, the fewer parts of your brain actually light up. Because now it's becoming a habit, right? We call it second nature. So now you can do it without thinking, or we get to that point where we say, I could do it in my sleep, right?
I see. Okay.
Because it doesn't require that much brain work anymore, because it's such a routine now. It's just normal for me. But at the beginning, that's what happened, right? That's what happens. And we just have to ride the curve. We have to ride that learning curve. And sometimes it catches people by surprise because they think, oh, I didn't expect myself to struggle, or I didn't expect myself to struggle this much. But like you said, everyone's different. You know, some people might struggle a little bit more because we all have gifts in different areas. You know, we all have strengths in different areas intrinsically, and then we learn to pick up more strengths. Right. But some people might find communication a lot harder. Some people might find the stick and rudder skills a lot harder. You know, it depends.
Yeah.
But I think as long as you have that burning desire, it's like you need something. I might have refreshed, but you need something that is sufficiently motivating to keep you going. An old quote from Nietzsche says, he who has a why can bet almost anyhow. So if you've got such a good reason because it fulfills you, then you will ride through those ups and downs. But tell me a bit more about what you're finding challenging now. I want to dig into that if you don't mind.
That's fine. At the moment, so going from Staplefed, where the runway is quite small, to Northfield, where it's quite big.
Huge.
I think one thing, it's massive. One thing that I'm finding a bit challenging is to just adapt to the new environment that I'm in. So that's one thing. And then another thing is my landings, although they are better than before, I feel like they always need more and more improvement. Like I can't reach that super buttery landing where it's just like, you know, where even the instructors like that's super good, because my landings right now are good, but I think that they can need a bit more improvement. So it'd be my landings and just adapting to you know, the longer runway, except that with the actual circus and the flying, my flying's actually pretty good at this point, because when you do, like you said, when you do the same thing again and again, it becomes second nature. So I've done quite a few circuits at Northfield, although it is quite a weird circuit, you know, it's kind of like
it's
branching
non-standard.
out. Non-standard. My brain's just gotten used to it. Like I pretty much know, okay, when to turn, you know, circuit altitude, what to do, etc. It's just second nature to me. But the landing,
you asked me a question as well over messaging, which I think, you know, many student pilots, even pilots, PPLs who are our building, ask themselves, which is, you know, am I being too harsh on myself? Am I being too hard on myself? So tell me a bit more about that.
So it seems like it's beneficial at the time when you're being hard on yourself, because you tell yourself that, you know, this is for my benefit, you know, I can like take my mistakes and learn from them. However, I think a key thing that I'm trying to, you know, get into, and I think is really important, is to, although it is good to like, you know, learn from your mistakes, there's a time and place for everything. So you don't have to like constantly worry about your mistakes that you've made before your flight lessons, etc. So one thing that I am trying to improve on is when I try something new and I do, you know, fail at it, I'm trying to, well, what I'm doing right now is I kind of like over focus on that, essentially. So
give me an example. Give me an example.
So,
what have you over focused on recently?
So one example I'd say would be my landings, for example. So what happened was that I took a 2-week break from flying. Just because, like, do you know how life is? Sometimes you have to take a break, and also money as well. So I took a 2 week break and I got back into it, and I realized I told myself like I don't need to like go in the sim or armchair fly because you know it's second nature. I got in and it was a few days ago, like in the really hot weather. I was coming in on final approach to land, and the plane was like bouncing a bit up and down. There was a bit of crosswind, but then I didn't really think too much of it. But then what happened was that I didn't anticipate how high I am for to like reduce the power to idle. So I reduced it. I think it was a bit too late. And then while I reduced it and I essentially rounded out, I realized that I was kind of floating on the runway for longer and longer and longer. And then my flare was a bit less as well. And so even my instructor said that, like, you know, that landing could have been better. However, to me, that was meant to be like second nature because I've done that so many times. So then I was thinking to myself, oh, like, it did kind of get to me because I thought to myself, I've done this several times. I should be able to do it again. But then because of that one thing, I was focusing on that a bit too much. So that's one like example I can give.
So yeah, okay. So let's tease that apart a little bit more.
Yeah.
When you're saying, am I being too hard on myself, right? Because you had this experience. What is that being hard on yourself making you do? What did it make you do?
It made me over focus on it and try and just do better and better. So it made
and
me
then when you over focused, what did you do? What did your over focus make you do?
It made me just like you know, I had like a schedule, for example, what I'm going to do after my lesson, the days after that. I kind of like forgot about that schedule and just made my priority to just go on the flight simulator or just armchair fly. So it kind of like made me make flying my main priority, which is like a huge thing. However, there's other aspects to life as well. But I made the flying part, the like trying to improve on my mistakes, the main things about my day, which meant that sometimes, like, you know, when my friends said, like, you know, do you want to meet up? I say no, I've got to like do some work, and it'd be me trying to like get on the flights and get my landings perfect, armchair fly. So it made me kind of miss out on some other aspects of life.
Right. Okay. And then did you have a lesson after that?
No, so that was my most recent lesson.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So okay, so we're yet to see what the result, what the full result of it is. So here is how I look at that question, right? Because I was I was considering that I told you I'd think about these questions and maybe share some thoughts. And I couldn't really think too far with that question. The reason why is it's hard to say. It depends on the situation. Are you being too hard on yourself? It comes down to the result.
Okay.
Is the result something that's constructive, or is the result something that's destructive? For example, if you tell me, oh, I had this bad landing and, you know, I just, on my way home, I was just kicking every can and every bottle that I could see on the ground, and I was throwing stones and you know, like, you know, do you know what? I was even told myself maybe I should just quit. I'm absolutely rubbish at this. I can do nothing. Like, I'm so silly. Like, if you say that to me, then I'll say, yeah, you're being too hard on yourself, right? Because the outcome is destructive.
Yeah.
But if you say to me, oh, I left and, you know, for the next week, you know, aviation became my focus and I went into the sim and I did armchair flying and I just couldn't get it out of my head. And I did that. And hopefully then the next thing you will say is, and so when I went to flying the next time, I didn't make that mistake, or, you know, I performed better, then I'm going to say,
good. Yeah.
I'm going to say maybe that's what you needed to do. Some people need to be harder on themselves. Some people kind of take it too easy and are a bit too kind of complacent about things. So I think the best way to judge that is by the outcome. And this reminds me of one of my when I did I don't know if you've probably seen this one. Let me show quickly for people who haven't seen it yet. Let me just show you, because I had a horrible lesson once. I mean, I've had a few horrible lessons, but this one particularly stood out.
Okay.
Let's see. Where was it? Yeah, give me just a second. I'll load up now. This is battered by crosswinds.
Oh, I think I have seen this.
Yeah, so I'm gonna like you. Obviously, feel free to go and watch it if you're watching in the audience. This is battered by crosswind. It's on Future Pilot 901 YouTube page. But this day was like, it was a hot day. The aircraft was heavier. For the first time, I flew with a passenger in the back during my lesson because my instructor allowed me to.
Yeah.
I was used to doing the circuit, left-hand circuit for runway 02. This was the first time I was doing 20 with a right circuit. So I was just like, wait, I'm trying to spot the ground. I'm trying to spot the features. I'm like all over the place. There's crosswinds. It's all crazy. But I'm just going to show my last landing.
Okay.
Final, okay. Pitch for 70s. We want a longest final as we
to point.
Yeah.
So I just need to positively control it, don't I?
That's it, yeah, that's it. Second stage, looking good. Keep flying the heading. Don't drift too far to the right. We're going to land on this one, okay?
Oh, and my passenger was getting motion sickness.
Oh my god!
Because it was so bumpy. So I'm flying. I got crosswinds. It's a hot day. The aircraft is not performing as well as I expected it to.
Yeah.
My passenger's getting sick. I'm like, ugh.
There's so much going on in your head.
So much going on in your head. Again, as a student pilot, at this point, I probably have like 10 hours and less than 10, maybe 8, 9 hours.
Ah, I see.
So still pretty fresh.
Yeah.
But let's see the landing.
That's it. All looks good. Start your turn on to final.
Would love joining cockpit.
Yep.
What's our final?
Good. Good. Much better. Car heat. Pitch for 70. Much better. You've got a bit of a longer final, so you've got longer to get stabilised. Wind check.
Need to call final, please. Wind is 09011.
I did call final.
Whatever. 11 knots across.
Bank angle. Bank angle.
Coming down.
Watch it.
Fly
Watch
level.
it. Ooh.
That's
Watch it.
Nice and gentle. Keep flying level. Pull back.
Yeah. So that was like that whole session. I was just like, oh, forget this.
Yeah.
And what I ended up doing was, bear in mind at this point, I was doing my Solo by 30 fundraiser. So the week after was supposed to be my 30th birthday. I was trying to go first solo.
Yeah.
And this was me thinking, I'll get this one done. And then, I could be going solo very soon.
Yeah.
And then it was just completely not the one.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, do you know what? The next day, I'm going to be on the flight sim. I'm going to do 100 circuits. I don't care how long it takes.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, a circuit is like 6 to 8, let's say 8 minutes.
Yeah.
So on the flight sim,
that is a very long
each
time.
time I did that, that's 800 minutes. That's like 13 hours, 12, 13 hours. So I was literally on my flight sim all day.
Yeah.
Like quickly ate
imagine.
food, back on it.
Yeah.
Now, some people will look at that and say, you are hard on yourself. I will say, right, it's about the outcome. That's what tells you if it's too hard, right? Because some people won't do that, and that's okay. That's down to them. Right?
Yeah.
But I like to push myself. And so for me, trust me, the next time I flew, I didn't make the same mistakes. I guarantee you that. And in fact, I posted videos of those, and one of my instructors I had on Instagram saw me doing engine failure after takeoff, right-hand circuit, left-hand circuit, doing glide approaches, all on the flight sim, so that by the time I showed up for my lesson, he was like, he already knows I'm putting the work. So it's like, okay, cool, let's just go and tick all these things off. And he didn't tell me I was going to go solo, but he just said, let's go tick things off. Right. And he just went, just took me through it, just bam, 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 bam. Right.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, how are you feeling? I was like, feeling good. Like, all right, you're going to go solo. I'm like, I'm like, stay calm, play it cool, play cool. All right.
Yeah.
But inside, I was like, yes, go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if I hadn't done that, I guarantee you I wouldn't have gone solo the week after.
Yeah.
So for me, that wasn't too hard on myself because the outcome was good. You know?
Yeah.
So for anybody out there kind of wondering, am I too hard on myself? I would invite you to look at the outcome. And if the outcome is good, then maybe you are working just as hard as you should be working. If the outcome is destructive and you know, leading you down a bad path and you're like metaphorically disintegrating, then you might need to take a step back and kind of like nurture yourself. So I'll give you one more example before I come back to you. I had a horrible time once going on grass landings, right? A soft field. Quite different. I'd done a few, but I wasn't as strong or as proficient with soft fields. And I particularly had a tough time once. And like, I came home, like, I apologized to my passengers. Like, I was just completely like, I do not want to deal with the world. And at that point, that's when I knew, okay, now you're being way too hard with yourself. Because one, everyone makes mistakes. The point is you were not intending to make a mistake. You were not intending to mess up. You know, you were doing everything to get it right and it just went wrong. And if you're going to quit flying every time you make a mistake, like, you're not going to go anywhere. Like, that's not real. So in that moment, I had to learn to nurture myself and go, do you know what? It's okay. I'm just going to go lay down, watch something, do something that just nurtures me, and then I'll come back to it at a later date. And it took me a couple of days, and then I felt right as rain, and I was back into it, you know?
Yeah.
So you may need to nurture yourself, or maybe you're working quite, you know, just exactly at the level that you need to be. So just a few thoughts for people. But yeah, tell me what you think about that.
Yeah, it was really good. I remember after that one lesson, the drive home, it was kind of depressing because I was thinking about that landing throughout the entire drive home. But then once I went home, I looked at my flight sim because I had my flight simulator set up on my table here, and I don't know, it just hit something in me. I came back to my room and I realized I've got my flight sim. I've got essentially everything I've ever wanted. You know, I've got a flight sim. I'm doing my flight lessons. I'm literally in the position that I wanted to be a year ago. Because I remember a year ago I was thinking about doing my PPO, and I barely had any money in my account, and I couldn't even afford one lesson. And I'm in the position where I can afford lessons, like even if it's monthly one lesson, I can still do it. And I realized I owe it to my past self and myself right now, but especially to my past self, to push through this. And what I did was, and it's quite funny because it's so similar to what you did as well. Maybe not like that many circuits, but I came back, I put on my simulator, and I thought, you know what, let bygones be bygones, but let me learn from that. And I just took in what my instructor said, and I just kept on doing circuits and circuits and circuits. I kept on doing landings. I went on Microsoft Flight Simulator. I changed the weather pattern to try and, like, you know, make it even harder for myself.
There you go.
Yeah, because in the simulator you can afford to make some like huge mistakes and learn from them. That's the point where you can learn, and even armchair flying. And so I just kept on doing it. But I will be honest, on the drive home, I wasn't in that state of mind of improving. I was just thinking, bro, that landing, like, if I had a passenger there, that there's gonna be some like broken bones there.
Listen,
then,
listen. It gets it. Listen, you know, being a pilot can be rough. All right, because that was that, right? But remember, when you get your license, you're going to be flying to different places. And do you know what happens when you fly to different places? People are going to be filming you.
Yeah.
So
Pressure.
it's one thing for you to drive home and think, oh, that landing, if I had passengers. It's another thing for you to go, oh, damn, I landed at an air show and everyone has just seen me mess up. Like,
yeah.
But it happens. It happens.
does.
And we can't, we can't be so hard on ourselves that we, that we don't recover. So I think it's, initially, you might need that time to just kind of recover a little bit, and then you got straight back into it. And that's one of the things that they advise people, if you particularly have like an incident or whatever in an aircraft, you want to get back in as soon as you can, as soon as it's safe to do so, because you just want to kind of get over it. And in a way, like what you said, getting back on the sim is a way to get over it.
Yeah.
Right? Because now in a way, it's mentally not your last landing anymore, because you've done the next bits of landing, even if it's on the sim. So you want to get the next one in quickly. So I think that was a brilliant way to handle that.
Yeah, thank you. And just one more thing, I think another tip that I'd give to people is during that time where you're trying to get from like a phase of like, being hard to yourself to a phase of like using mistakes to improve. I'd also suggest like, in aviation, it's a community, you can reach out to
your audio is playing up, man.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It kind of got a little bit robotic.
It's better now.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. What I was just saying is during that phase where you're going from a stage of like being hard to yourself to like, using it constructively, you can reach out to people, For example, I reach out to you. It could be your friends. It could be people in aviation as well. For example, like for my flight school, we've got a WhatsApp group chat where you can ask questions as one example. But just reach out to people, because one thing I realized, throughout this entire live stream is that what I thought I was going through, and maybe only a few other people went through, you've gone through it as well, and many other people have gone through it as well. So you can always reach out to people and get help. So that's one thing.
That's a really, really good point. And in fact, I'm going to go back to the scenario that I've just that I shared earlier. One of the things that did help me get through was speaking to somebody who was a lot further down the line. And the thing that I was like freaking out about, she was like, yeah, that happens. Just, talk about it this way at your future interview. Go about it this way. Just share it this way, use it in this way. I'm like, wait, but it's the end of the world. But wait, no, you don't understand. I messed up. The world is about to end. And they're like, yeah, no, just use it in your next interview. That's fine. You've done everything you could do. You've contacted a flight instructor. You're going to go out and do some flight training. Yeah. That's the best you can do. So 100%. Having somebody just have a fuller perspective than you in that situation, because they've gone through it, can do a lot. We call it normalizing, to normalize the fact that actually you're not an alien who's made this mistake. Like, this mistake happened. In fact, a little silly one happened to me once, where I had I was checking the fuel and I had the dipstick. For the first time, listen, I've checked the fuel plenty of times. I've never been at risk of this, but one time, checked the fuel and the dipstick disappeared. I was like, oh, it dropped into. Oh
my god!
I called maintenance straight away. I was like, guys, I'm really sorry. Like, I've just done something really silly. I don't know how it's happened. My dipstick is in the fuel tank. And they were like, listen, you're not the first person to do it. You probably won't be the last. Like, we'll sort it. But just even that, it's like, look, you're not the first person to make that mistake, and you're not the last. You're not the first person to struggle with something in the training, and you won't be the last. It's just part of the journey. Embrace 100%. It. Let it frustrate you to a healthy degree, use that frustration as motivation, and then just
Yeah.
improve on it.
100%. Perfect.
That's it, man.
That's
That's it. What do you have any more questions for me?
Maybe not questions, but one thing that I can add as well is this idea of taking failure and using it constructively has helped me in other aspects as well. For example, I'm doing my PPL right now and I'm at uni. However, I applied to the Speedbird Pilot Academy, British Airways.
This year?
I applied this year. I got through the first stage, and then I was quite happy. But then second stage, I wasn't that lucky to get through, unfortunately. And
what stage was that?
It's after you do the situational judgment test, the maths test, and
detail checking.
Detail checking as well. Yeah, that one. And then there was the second one, and I think it was the listening accuracy one. That one, that one, because that one that it was my fault. Genuinely, it was my fault. What I did was I went onto it. I think they gave you advice on like getting your pen and paper ready.
Yeah.
But I thought to myself, like, it's going to be a walk in the park, and then it started.
No.
And
you did not do that.
It started. I pressed play and then I realized this is not a walk in the park. This is not a walk in the. I rushed to get this out. I found a paper, and I realized this is not a walk. This is not a walk in the park. And then I managed to get through it, and then I think everything I did so far was good. However, I just didn't have time to finish off fully. And the thing is, honestly, I like if I failed that, but then I did have my pen and paper, I wouldn't really be that upset. But it's the fact that I could have had that. I could have done better. I could have gave it my all and then failed. But it's just it was super annoying. And the thing that really annoyed me was they took like a week to get back. That's 1 week of just absolute suspense. It was like it was actually terrifying. And then there was that. I think 2 years ago or 3, I applied to the TUI one. Let me tell you, it's a completely different ball game. That TUI sponsored thing is 10 times harder. The first stage, that maths test, is horrible. that maths
it's
test.
rough. It's rough. It's rough. But listen, these are expensive mistakes, man, because I mean, who knows how long cadet schemes are going to run? Who knows? TUI didn't run it this year. Are British Airways going to run SPA next year? I mean,
who knows?
They're already delayed in terms of getting cadets into the schools. So you can't do that, man. You can't. But expensive lesson to learn, man.
Expensive lesson.
Do you know what? Hey, here is a trick for memory.
Yeah.
If you want to remember something, usually information plus strong emotion equals strong memory.
Okay.
That's why we remember some of the most, important things that happen, because there's strong emotion, and sometimes we need those strong emotions to remind us.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I messed this up. I'm not going to do that again. But you definitely needed the pen and paper.
100%.
I'm still in the running for that, so we'll see how that goes. But,
okay, nice. That's good. And just one final question, if
go for it.
Allows.
Go for it.
I saw that you're part of the I think it's Honorary Company of Air Pilots. If I said that right. Oh, sorry, Honourable Company of Air Pilots. I applied to them this year. Unfortunately, I didn't get a response.
PPL scholarship?
For the PPL scholarship. Is there any advice you'd give to people like me who want to apply? Because I am going to apply. Maybe not next year because I should have my PPL. But I've heard that they do ATPL. They give a scholarship for that. So is there any advice you'd give to people on how to essentially stand out, how to show the best version of themselves on that?
Sure. So the Air League is also running. This is bad because I'm kind of cross promoting here, but the Air League is running a similar ATPL ground scholarship. So definitely look to apply next year. Give me just a second.
No worries.
So how do you stand out? As a panel member, my emphasis is like with anything, I've run my own scholarship as well. Future Pilot 901 is do the basics right.
Yeah.
So, for example, its first stage is written application. Second stage is a 1 minute video. Then you come into the interview. So your written application, like, don't have crossings off, you know, like basic things like that. Make sure that your handwriting, because it's handwritten, make sure that your handwriting is legible, clear, that it represents you well. Another way of thinking about it is the scholarships, the sponsors contribute about 15,000 per candidate. So when you're applying for it, imagine that you're applying and asking somebody to give you 15 grand for the PPL scholarships. So I'll talk about the ATPL scholarships as well. But when you're applying for it, think of the value and say, you know, I'm asking for this money. How would I ask that? Would I have crossings out? Like if somebody gave me this application and asked me for 15 grand, would I give it to them? So I think that will allow you to self-edit some things. So the first section is education. You can't really do anything about that other than what you've already done. You just put your grades down. Then the next bit is you put bits about your experience. So it's very similar. The ATPL application is also very similar to the PPL applications with some slight changes. Then essentially page 2 of the applications are where essentially you could win or lose in terms of getting into the next stage. Because page 1 is just your name, your address, blah, blah, blah. Then it's like your grades, the jobs that you've had. Then it's your flying experience. Page 2 in PPL is basically what are the PPL requirements? What challenges do you expect to have in the summer? What's your career plans? And what's your biggest achievement? Generally, those are the ones that will get you through or hinder you. Not saying the other pages can't, but that's where the bulk of where you can demonstrate the bulk of the competencies. For the ATPL, it's what's the requirement for to unfreeze your ATPL. So again, those you want to make sure that's clear, it's to the point. When it comes to things, you know, like your plan, this is where people can be kind of wishy-washy. And I can understand that because at some point I was wishy-washy about my plans. But because I've done ATPL applications this year, I had, let me see if I can find it. So I developed this system of making a mind map of everything I need for the interviews. So from company information. Okay, so that's the interview stage, but I'll come back to that. So I know everything there is to know about BGS and what they do with ATPLs. I know everything there is to know about ATPLs and the requirements. I can tell you which exams they have. In terms of my plan, I've got very clear, like I had like a flow chart, right? Again, nobody does this. I have not seen anybody do it, but I did it because I was like, that best explains, and because it's handwritten, I can do it. So I literally had a flow chart: night rating 2026, arrow, IMC 2027, arrow, what's the next one? SEIR 2028. So I made sure my plan was clear, and then I wrote stuff. So you really want to have some depth in how you convey that. You want to show that you have clarity. How I would say is, particularly when you then go to the next level of doing the interviews, is look at each section of the application and kind of mind map all the different questions or points that could come out of it.
Okay.
Right. So, for example, if it's about ATPL requirements, okay, cool. What questions could come up? What's the requirement? What exams do you have to do? Which exams do you think are the hardest? Which ones do you think are the easiest? You know, how are the exams done? So a lot of places would do them in modules, right? So
Yeah.
EGS would do 4, then 5, then 4. But if you did Skyborne, like with Speedbird Pilot Academy, they do 5, then 4, then 4. So I've preloaded all this information that's ready to go. So it's really about having depth and clarity, and I think that comes across in your application. So, but when the time comes closer, let me know. Drop me a line.
Okay.
And I'll be happy to kind of help you think through, because I'm not as involved with the ATPL scholarships, whereas I'm involved with the PPL, so I can't really say too much. But with ATPLs, I can kind of give you a bit more insight. So when the time comes, feel free to.
That's amazing, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
No, my absolute pleasure, man. You know, listen, it's you know how it is, man. I've had a tough time getting to where I am today, and it's only for people being so generous, so kind, so helpful that I've been able to make this progress. So anytime I get the chance to pass it on, in fact, the person who sponsored my PPR scholarship is Captain Colin Donaldson. He's an A380 British Airways captain, and he gives 15 grand of his own money to the Honourable Company of Air Pilots each year, and says, find me somebody who is exceptional but looks average. Right?
Okay.
And how he explained it to me is his background, he grew up in Hackney. Okay. He went to school, and at the time, this is back in the day, they would just kind of chuck a book on the table. Essentially, he had to teach himself, right? He wasn't getting taught properly. He had to teach himself. He then, when he eventually got out of school, whatever, went to uni, he then, or wherever it was, he then experienced real teaching. He was like, wow, like people actually get taught like this? Like I've never experienced that. And then, you know, he just noticed on his journey from what he saw and his personal experiences that somebody could look at somebody, you know, a candidate who has grades C in their GCSEs and go, what happened to your GCSEs? Right? Whereas this person who got a C, maybe they were a carer for their parent at home. Maybe they never got taught at school, and that was just from them self-studying. So when you really think about it, that's the fact that they even got a C is incredible, because of all the pressures that they had and all the opportunities that they lacked. Meanwhile, you have other candidates who are like captain of the ski team, and they got the A stars. And it's like, you look at this C student and you think, oh, they're not as good. But the truth is, they are exceptional, but they just don't look it because of the circumstances that they come out from. And he's really passionate about kind of finding those hidden gems. So I said to him, look, I'm so grateful that I got, you know, I was sponsored by you, and I promise you, I will pay it forward. And for me, I try to live that out, you know, every opportunity I get. So when I heard from you, I was like, I'm happy to, you know, give you my time, give you as much as I've got. And I do these kind of calls with a lot of people, just not on the stream, but it's a privilege to see other people as well progress. So I'm looking forward to, you know, you messaging me and going, I just went first solo, and see your photos on Instagram. You know, I will be celebrating with you, trust me.
Thank you so much, man.
I'll be jumping up and down with you.
I appreciate it. And man. it just goes to show how like helpful and loving the aviation community is.
100.
All it takes is just someone reaching out, you know.
That's it.
And I think, like I said at the start, some people might not want to reach out because they think that it's a them thing, like, you know, that other people might not have experienced what they're experiencing. And I think whatever you're thinking, just let that go and just reach out. And if I didn't reach out, I wouldn't have had to. I wouldn't have been able to like talk to you for this long and understand like your viewpoint and so many different experiences that you've been through, and realize that he's literally been through like some stuff similar to me, and how you've overcome it. So it's been really, really helpful. And I just urge people to just reach out. It could be, you know, people that you met in your flight school. Could be your instructor. It could be, you know, someone on YouTube. Anyone to do with aviation, just reach out.
All of the above, absolutely.
Yeah.
Drop comments and videos, speak to
Yeah.
instructors, speak to other students that are training at the same school, connect with like, you know, young with the younger air pilots, connect with the Air League people, any community, because you never know where you're going to get that gem, that information that you really need that will make a difference for you. So I couldn't agree more. But yeah, man, you're always welcome anytime. Like I said, if you know, have any questions, feel free to drop me a line. And yeah, I'd be happy to have a conversation. But yeah, keep me up to date. Let me know how you're
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you.
And you, man. My pleasure.
Thank you, bro. I
Mustafa.
appreciate it. See you later, man. Bye.
Pleasure, man. Take care. Yes, people, that was Mustafa. Yeah, got a very very in-depth message from him recently, so I thought it'd be worth having a chat. Very productive conversation, I think. Very productive conversation, and in line with the whole, you know, supporting people with their journeys. If you haven't already seen it on the YouTube, I've dropped some new content, some content that is quite different to the usual, okay? Quite different to the usual. And you might want to sink your teeth. You might want to sink your proverbial teeth into it. This is your future pilot interview companion, and how it's intended to work is I basically have different sets of questions, and what you can do is use this to practice answering interview questions, okay? This is almost unlike anything I've seen so far on the YouTube. Yeah, a lot of the time people have like question and answers. A lot of the time people just share tips, but this is your practice companion. Essentially, you play this, you hear me ask the question, a timer appears with 2 minutes on the clock for you to answer the question. And once it gets down to 0, I then ask you the next question, and there you go, another 2 minutes to answer the question. The first set is common questions that you will get at an interview, you know, basic questions like, tell us a bit about yourself. Questions like, what do you know about us? You know, these questions show up in some way, shape, or form at every interview. And even though you may not be asked that question, you want to preload those answers and kind of fit them into different places, right? Why have you applied for this role? Why are you interested in this role? Well, you might answer that question and weave in what you know about the company as well. So those answers will be useful regardless, right? So you want to have that practice, sharpen, working under time pressure to answer clearly, accurately, and concisely. As I mentioned as well, you're going to have other videos with other themes come out. For example, the next one that's going to drop in a couple of days is the toughest interview questions you're likely to face. These are the really difficult ones that you know, throw you off a little bit. Like, tell me, why do you think your previous application was rejected? And you're like, oh damn, like, is that how we're gonna start? Those tough questions like, so we're interviewing many brilliant candidates. Why should we give you the role? And you're like, again, it's going to take off that sting, that you know, startle effect. because you've practiced, you've used the Future Pilot Interview Companion. So do make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel for that so you can make the most of it. All right. For those of you that are not aware, Fly to Dance episode 4 is now out. So you got 4 episodes to sink your teeth into. If you don't know what Fly to Dance is, you should know. Here it is. I've always loved flying.
Hello. Come on. Well done.
And dancing, there's no denying. If only I could blend the two. I know what I'll do. I'll fly to new places, to dance with new faces. Making the most of the wings a private pilot license brings.
Oh, it's a little bit gusty.
Just made a no-fly decision.
Squawk conspicuity, 3-4 shore.
A different way to our build and advance.
2-0, join downwind.
I call it Fly to Dance.
4 flaps.
Ooh, nice one.
Flaps come up.
Well, flight, man.
Foxtrot Sierra, welcome to shore.
We have everything in this flight, man.
Everything, bro.
Yes, and the next episode will be out sooner rather than later, which would be the last episode of that mini series, at least for now. All right, people. Well, thank you very much for joining me. I may, make the link available for people who want to jump on the stream and have a conversation on any of the topics I talk about, because I think it could be quite valuable to share, different ways of thinking around a common subject. But what did you think of that? Make sure you drop a comment on the YouTube channel. Make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button. Come on, you liked the conversation, you liked it, it was useful to you. So just smash the like button and let's get it over and done with. It's not going to cost you anything. Just smash that like button. All right. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. And if you're on Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Shout out to the new follows on, this is getting funky. Shout out to the new follows on Kick and the new subscribers on YouTube. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much for that. All right, people. Well, you know where I'm at. Not usually on YouTube. I'm only on YouTube when I have a guest. All right. So YouTube audience, you will not be seeing me on YouTube for Future Pilot 901 Live. If you want to catch that, come over to Kick, kick.com/Future Pilot 91. All right. You'll see a banner there that gives you the information, what time I'm on every Monday, 7 p.m. British summertime. All right, people. Well, until next time. Yes, indeedy. Until next time. This is Future Pilot 901. My name is D. I'm your future captain, and I'm reminding you to live your dream and bounce back from those mistakes and keep on growing. Take care. Peace.
Man, from living in my car to finally getting my trial flight done.
I've always loved flying.
Hello.
To finally getting my trial flight done. To being in this moment.
Hey, come on. Well done.
Was it worth the sacrifice? Oh man.
Flat. Pull back. May pull back more. Hold it there. Pull back.
Radar 130.
Bit more.
Listen. Was it worth the sacrifice?
So, power right on. Center line.
Listen, if you have a dream, it's down to you to make it happen, man. You might give it everything and it might still not work, but guess what? The journey makes you a better, stronger person. Can you imagine what kind of person you would become if you didn't pursue the one thing that you thought was the best thing in the world? You didn't pursue it. What kind of person does that make you after 20, 30 years of doing that? But when you chase what you believe is the most valuable, the most beautiful, the most awesome thing that you can do, and you give it everything, win or lose, you become a better person.
I've always loved flying.
Hello! Under the radar, come on! Well done.
And dancing, there's no denying. If only I could blend the two. I know what I'll do. I'll fly to new places, to dance with new faces. Making the most of the wings a private pilot license brings.
That was a little bit gusty.
Just made a no-fly decision.
Squawk on switch UT, 3-call shore.
A different way to our build and advance.
2-0, join downwind.
I call it fly to dance.
Full flaps.
Ooh, nice one.
Flaps come up. Whoa, flight, bro.
Foxtrot Sierra, welcome to shore.
We have everything in this flight, man.
Everything, bro.
Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot, but could never afford it. One day I decided to stop making excuses, to sacrifice my comfort. Ever since I was a kid, I had a dream of becoming a pilot,